The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello, welcome to another edition of our program, CHW in Action. As always, CHW stands for Community Health Worker in Action because I'm always in action in the community of Greater Nashua and throughout the whole state of New Hampshire, trying to bring people in the whole state actually, because this program is aired in Nashua, but it's watched in different cities within the state of New Hampshire and even outside of New Hampshire. I'm very happy to say that I have received emails from people that have been watching the shows from many different places, different states. So thank you to all my viewers. But as I was saying, I was introducing that show as being CHW in Action, and as I said, CHW stands for Community Health Worker in Action because I'm always in action, trying to bring the community of Nashua and all over New Hampshire healthy educational information as to how to live a healthy lifestyle. And I usually have an interesting guest or guests where we can all learn more about how to live a healthy lifestyle. And I said I'm always here to try to share with you, the audience, things that I learned. My name is Rafael Calderon. I'm a professional CHW. That's part of my introduction. And today I want to welcome you to this edition where I want to talk about what I actually do as a community health worker. So if you follow this TV show, you'll see that I'm always talking about, CHW in action. I'm a CHW, a community health worker, and I'm always trying to educate the community of Greater Nashua on how to live a healthier lifestyle. But I have come to learn that many people from different areas in the state and outside of the state have followed that TV show because I have many friends because I love people. And so a lot of people have asked me, what exactly is it that a CHW does? What do you do as a community health worker? So this TV show is about what I think is the most important thing that I do as a community health worker, as a CHW. I basically educate people on how to live a healthy lifestyle. And one way that I do it is I teach these classes that are called, they're about how to manage a chronic disease, specifically how to prevent or manage a diabetes chronic condition. And I'll go into more details about that. I have this lovely chart here because I just came from one of my classes today. I just finished teaching a class. I just finished teaching my class at the White Mountains. I am going to miss going up there because the students were such nice people and the view was so beautiful. I think I'm going to go back on my own sometime just to visit. But the class finished today. The class was called, is called because it's still going to go on. That we won't meet every week anymore, but we'll meet about once a month to stay in touch and follow up on progress. But the class is called Diabetes, I'm losing my words, Diabetes Self-Management Program or Education. So this is the outcome of that class, right? As you can see also in the background, there's the book that we use to give you a closer look This is the book that I use when I teach the class. Okay, living a healthy life with chronic conditions. This book is like a Bible on how to live a healthy lifestyle, and I put it up there so you can look it up. Put it up on the background so you can look it up and look into it. The main purpose of this program is that I want to make this class known and available for anybody that is watching that is pre-diabetic or diabetic. It could be type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes. But if you have diabetes, believe me, you'll want to go to this class. So today I finished, me and my co-leader, because this class needs to be taught by 2 people, and we finished. And in fact, I'll tell you, let me give you more details about this class. The class is called Diabetes Self-Management Education. So diabetes self-management education. So in the classes, we teach people who have been found to have pre-diabetes and people who have diabetes, whether it be 1 or 2. And we basically, if they are pre-diabetes, the class is all about teaching people how to prevent that pre-diabetes diagnosis, how to keep it from preventing into being actually diabetes 2 or 1. Okay, so the class will help you whether you are pre-diabetes or whether you have diabetes 2 or 1. And I'll tell you exactly what diabetes is. Okay, diabetes is basically that the body needs sugar, so it takes the food, converts it in sugar, then the body uses the energy. So it's food, sugar, energy. When the body cannot produce, and going backwards, in the pancreas, right, we have insulin. So when we consume foods, then the foods that are used by the body, they are turned into energy. They're turned into sugar that it's turned into energy. So when a person has diabetes, or diabetes happens when for some reason the pancreas is not producing enough insulin. Now, so while the pancreas is still producing insulin, a person can be pre-diabetic, and a person can manage that pre-diabetes by eating healthy, exercising, living a low-stress lifestyle, and working along with their healthcare provider or their doctor to keep the pre-diabetes at that level. And sometimes there have been people that have lost weight and by eating healthy and exercising and have managed or learned how to live a healthy lifestyle and a stress-free or a low stress levels lifestyle. And some people have actually gone from being pre-diabetic to not having diabetes. That has happened. Unfortunately, though, it is most likely that someone goes from pre-diabetes to diabetes type 2. Diabetes type 2 is when the body can still produce insulin, and it can be managed with medication and so on and so forth, on top of eating healthy and having a healthy lifestyle. But once a person gets to diabetes type 1, then things get dangerous. Okay, and what happens is that the body can no longer produce insulin. So people have to inject insulin, and people have to watch what they eat and what they do, because if they do not, they can have serious consequences. In my line of work, I know people that have lost their eyesight, have had parts of their bodies amputated. I mean, they have become very obese. They've had heart problems. There's been actually people that have unfortunately died because of diabetes, because the blood pressure gets so high. And also, I also know of people, unfortunately, that the diabetes became so low or got so low while they were driving that they have passed out while driving and have unfortunately gotten into fatal crashes. So diabetes can be deadly if you don't treat it, if you don't take care of it. Okay. Now, having said that, that is not to say that if you are found to be pre-diabetic, or if you have pre-diabetes or diabetes type 2 or 1, that means that you're doomed. No, you just need to learn how to manage it. And that's the idea of this class. And that's why I wanted to share with you these outcomes of this class. And to give you a little more detail about the class, okay, the class is called, again, it's called Diabetes Self-Management Education. It takes place in 6 weeks, 2.5 hours, 1 day a week. So for example, the class that I finished today at the White Mountains, it was every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 for 6 Tuesdays. And the way that the class went about is that everyone in the class, we had 12 people, and everyone was either pre-diabetic or diabetic. So we taught a class for these 6 weeks. We used that book up on the screen, living basically living a lifestyle with a chronic condition. Diabetes is a chronic condition. So at the end of the class, I've taught a whole bunch of classes. This one was so good. It was really good. When we asked the class participants what they learned from the class, what they got from the class, these were the outcomes, right? The question was, what things have been helpful about the class? And the first one is planning ahead. You see, when you have a disease like diabetes, you want to plan ahead for things. You don't want to wait until something happens. So if you know you have diabetes, or if you have been found to be in the pre-diabetic stage, plan ahead to eat better, to exercise, to manage your medication, to try to live a low level stress life. You want to keep your stress to the minimum, okay? So you plan ahead on speaking with your doctor, working with your doctor, so on and so forth. Then we talked about expensive foods, okay? Expensive foods, I put in parentheses the healthy foods because there's a misconception. There's a big misconception when it comes to healthy foods. People say to me all the time, Rafael, I want to learn how to eat better, how to eat healthier, but it's too expensive. I'm here to tell you that eating healthy does not have to be expensive. Yes, I know that we have some places that sell very expensive healthy foods, but in their defense, I have to say that the food is really good, okay? But also, I take this nutrition class with my friend Grace. Can't give you her full name and stuff because she's very shy and she doesn't like me to mention her too much on the program. But she is a great lady and she teaches a nutrition class. I have taken her a couple of times. And she teaches you how to buy regular food on a healthy level. Well, healthy foods on a healthy level. What I mean by that is that if you go into a store and you see foods, vegetables, organic food, so on and so forth, you buy that stuff and you mix it. You mix, I mean, she would have to here to explain it better, but she would have to be here to explain it better to you. But the point being is that it's not expensive to eat healthy. She teaches this class. If you're interested in learning more about her, Grace's class, at the end of this program, you'll have my contact information. Reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with her. She's always willing to teach a class. She just needs about 10 people, 10 to 12 people to teach a class. So yeah, you can eat healthy and it doesn't have to be all that expensive. Then communication. See, communication was about communicating with your healthcare provider, with your doctor. If you have a doctor that doesn't bring up, which is unlikely because most doctors that I know, when they know that someone has diabetes, they're on top of it. But if you happen to have a healthcare provider who is not mentioning anything about how to manage your diabetes. Because usually what happens is that a doctor will refer you to a diabetes educator or to a diabetes program. And that is awesome. I'm very happy that doctors do that. What I want to recommend now to doctors going forward is to send them to me so I can teach this class with them. And when I was describing the class, that it's 6 weeks, 2.5 hours per day, I didn't mention that you have to have 2 leaders, 2 people teaching the class. So I never teach alone. I always have a nice lady or a nice guy teaching with me. These classes are awesome, right? So communication, people said that in the class, they learn how to better communicate with their doctor regarding their diabetes. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know that when someone has diabetes, they need to have their feet checked regularly. And it's sometimes I've been told that a doctor comes into a medical room and is in a bit of, I don't want to say a rush because I don't want it to sound bad. But let's say that they don't spend as much time as the patient would like them to spend with them, right? And sometimes they don't check the patient's feet. Now, thanks to this program and thanks to people having learned about communication, when our class participants go to see their doctors, they say, can you please check my feet? And one way to get the attention of the doctor is they automatically take off their shoes so that the doctor gets the message. So it's a beautiful thing. You learn how to better communicate with your doctor or your healthcare provider. Then we have this part of reading the labels. You know, I don't know if you know, if you're like me, right? Before I took these classes, I would go shopping for food. I would never look at the label. I never thought of it at all, right? Until I got this thing that they call the gout. It's a horrible, painful, chronic disease that when you have it, it really is it's very painful. It's a very interesting thing. And I didn't realize that in my diet, I was having a lot of soup with high sodium. I was eating all these things with all this high sodium. I love cooking my Dominican food, and when I cook it, I used to use, or when I used to cook it, I used to use a lot of seasonings that had a lot of sodium in it. And I realized that when I stopped eating so much sodium, then the gout started going down. So reading labels is a big thing. When people think about reading labels, they think about reading the amount of carbohydrates, the amount of calories, the amount of sugar, so on and so forth. The beautiful thing is that you can read all of them. And I tell you that in every single class, more than one person say, after I started reading the labels, because I didn't used to do it before, I am more self-conscious about the foods that I buy. So reading the labels is a big thing about this program. Okay. The next thing is the action plans. I gotta tell you, the most exciting part of this class to me is the action plans, because the action plans teach you how to take big goals and break them down into small pieces. You break them down, they become more doable, right? And I can tell you mainly that the action plans, they're for you only. They're not for anyone else. Not anyone else thinks that you should do. They're for you. And if you use them, they will work for you. I'll give you a true life example. I have a gentleman in our class today, where the class that ended today. And again, let me mention that the classes end after 6 weeks, but most classes, they want to stay in touch and get back together about a month after the class is over, and then to do it on a monthly basis. It's a beautiful thing. This class not only teaches you how to prevent your prediabetes to advance into diabetes, it also introduces you to new people. It's like a bit of a social club, but an educational social club. All right. So when the action plans take place, people come into the class and they talk about the results. So I started telling you that this gentleman in the class that ended today, he lost 4 pounds in 6 weeks following this action plan. Isn't that awesome, right? Because when people say, well, I want to lose weight, they don't go into specifics. You see, an action plan will break things down into specific small goals that you can accomplish. And then once you accomplish those goals, it builds up your self-esteem. At the accomplishment, builds up your self-esteem. And you say, you know what, if I lost these 4 pounds, I can lose 4 more, and so on and so forth. So I tell all my friends, if you want to lose weight, if you have diabetes or prediabetes, please come to this class. If you don't have diabetes or prediabetes, still contact me. And if you have 12 people, I can teach a class only about how to manage chronic conditions, like the book says up there, how to live a healthy life with chronic conditions. So it doesn't have to be just diabetes. But I'm emphasizing diabetes because that's the one that I'm teaching the most. The diabetes class is the one that I'm teaching the most. And I'm telling you, these action plans are magic. You can hear, if you come into these classes, people talking about so many wonderful things that they accomplish with these action plans. And I'd like to emphasize that the action plans, they don't have to be specifically tied to diabetes or to any health matter or any health condition. There's a person that wanted to rearrange her closet. And she said, I've been trying to do it for years, and I never make the time to do it. But after they learned how to use the action plans, now she got it done. How is that healthy? Because it helps her peace of mind. It helps her have a healthier peace of mind because she did that and she accomplished something, right? The next thing that we have, before I move on, in the action plans, you have the example that I have from another lady in the program, is that she wanted to do exercises, but she was told by her doctor, you have to walk for 30 minutes or do whatever for 30 minutes. She didn't feel that she had the energy to do a type of exercise for 30 minutes. So what she learned in the class is, by using the action plans, is that she broke it down into 10-hour parts. 10 minutes, I'm sorry. She broke it into 10 minutes, 3 10-minute sessions. And she started working on that. And slowly she got up to 30 minutes. And now she can exercise for 30 minutes without losing her breath, without getting bent out of shape. Why? Because she used the action plan. She started small and then she went big. I'm telling you, this class is amazing. Okay, then you have stress management. I gotta tell you, one of the biggest things for people this is what I learned because it applied to me. When you're very stressed out, sometimes it can be simple to dial back and feel better. It can be a lot simpler than it seems. I gotta tell you, as a community health worker, I used to be very, very stressed out. You know why? Because I'd meet a lot of people that would tell me, I want to live a healthier lifestyle, but that they didn't seem to want to make anything happen. They didn't have the, let's say, the energy or the desire to actually go and make something happen. And I never knew about this class. I didn't know about the action plans. So I would get highly stressed out. But once I learned about this class, I actually went back to people that I knew that wanted to do some things, and I've been talking to them, coaching them on how to live a healthy lifestyle using the action plans. Okay? Now, we had healthy eating. It ties back to what we talked about before. Healthy eating, healthy foods, and healthy eating, they go hand in hand. Okay? To eat healthy, you don't have to eat specialized foods. Just eat more vegetables, less red meat, more fish, more foods that are organic. Okay? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll invite you to please give me a call or an email or send me an email after the program and the credits. You'll see my contact information. We'll talk about healthy eating. Healthy eating does not have to be expensive. It is very doable. And if you can learn to cook healthy foods like I have, and I'm not the greatest cook, if I can do it, you can do it. Okay? In the class, people learn how to, we don't cook in the class, but that book, it has a lot of information on how to eat healthy foods, and then you want to learn how to prepare it. And that's why the class is working on getting a book that can help with that. Another thing is that people get a positive attitude. And the last things are positive attitude, how to manage negative emotions, okay? What to do when you're sick, right? And I leave that working with your physical provider, or your physician or medical provider. This is my handwriting, and sometimes I can't read it myself. But when I'm in the class, I talk about what I read, so I make sure that people understand it. Okay, so these two of having a positive attitude and avoiding or managing negative emotions and what to do when you're sick, it's because I have met a lot of people that have diabetes, and trust me, it can get to you. When you are told that you have diabetes and you cannot do things that you used to do before, and if you want to be gung-ho and go and do things that you're not supposed to do, you get dizzy, you get low blood sugar, high blood sugar, you feel horrible. And then you realize, you learn that you no longer have the same body that you had before, in the sense that you cannot do the same things that you used to do before. But that doesn't mean that that has to be permanent. You can adapt, right? You can take this class to learn how to manage your chronic disease, how to manage your diabetes. And in learning how to manage your diabetes, then your mental state goes from negative to positive, because now you don't feel that you are trapped in this disease or that your life is going to be controlled by this disease. You can use positive thinking to make things happen. And I'm telling you, I see it every day. And people say, especially when they get sick, when we all get sick, we don't have the same energy. We don't feel like working out. We don't feel like exercising. We don't feel like eating right or properly. We just want to get by, right? What does that do? It makes things worse. So by learning what to do when you're sick, in a sense, as you said at the beginning, you're planning ahead. And you plan ahead by having also like a chest with all your medicines, by having someone to contact if you get sick or ill, someone that can take you to the hospital, that can call the doctor for you. All these beautiful, amazing things you can learn in this class. And it all comes down to having a better communication with your healthcare provider, because your healthcare provider wants you to be healthy. I got to tell you again, your healthcare provider wants you to be healthy. He or she wants you to learn how to manage your diabetes. It's just a matter of them not knowing where to send you. And with that, I've come to the end of using this chart. The idea of bringing this chart to you today is simply to make the point to you that this class is an amazing thing for anyone that has prediabetes, diabetes type 2 or type 1. If you want more information about any of these classes, my contact information is at the end of the program. Now that I've talked about this, I want to go back to talking about my work as a community health worker. And I want to tell you about my work as a community health worker because it's my passion. It's what I love to do. And now I'm trying to create a place for myself where I can teach these classes, such classes and other classes. Because I, excuse me, I want to have like a block of 4 hours where I can teach people this class on how to manage a chronic condition, or especially diabetes, or also where people can do yoga or some type of stress reducing activity. I would say yoga because I know these nice ladies from Lawrence, Massachusetts. They have an excellent program. It's called Body and Brain, and I had them on I had the program on my schedule a couple of weeks ago, so I hope you got a chance to see it. If you haven't seen the Body and Brain episode, please watch it. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch it. It's 1 hour of yoga. Beautiful thing. So I want to create this program where I teach this class, where I have at least 1 hour of yoga. Excuse me. I gotta get some water. Thank you. I want to get this class where I have this class I put together. This class, 1 hour of yoga and 1 hour of Grace's nutrition, eating, and healthy cooking. I want to do all these things for you. Excuse me. I want to do all these things to you because I want you to live a healthy lifestyle. My new mission in life is to help as many people as I can to live a healthy lifestyle, right? And now I'm even more able to do it now that I'm trained and certified to teach this class and experience, because I've taught about 5 of these classes. So in closing, I want to invite you to join me in the idea of having a workshop where I can include a class on how to live a healthy lifestyle based on evidence-based information, and how to learn how to live a low-level stress life by learning how to do yoga, and also by learning how to cook, by having a nutrition class, learning how to eat healthy and cook healthy foods with my friend Grace. And then the goal is to get together with local hospitals and health clinics so that we can have their patients come to this class. The idea is that the classes are free to the attendants. That's the idea, that people don't have to pay to live a healthy lifestyle. We can deal with the other stuff later, but that's the goal. That's the idea. That's what I want to do. And I want to do it for you, my community of Greater Nashua and the whole state of New Hampshire, because I want people to be healthier, because I want to be useful. The more useful that I am, the more of, I guess, the closer I am to God. That's the way that I see it. But I'm not going to get religious on you. I just wanted to tell you that. Okay? So thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope that you do contact me after the show is over. Look at my contact information. Let's get more of these classes into Nashua. Okay? Thank you so very much for your time. God bless you. Your CHW, Rafael Calderon.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.